Hello and welcome back to my review of the Rio grade Sazabi. In this part of the review, we're just going to take a look at my kit after I painted it up. As you can see, I decided to go with a titanium finish slash candy coat color scheme. Hopefully the shininess of the red does show through on camera. So here's just a quick spin around. So the Sazabi's color scheme is kind of monotone. It's mainly just black and red, and that's exactly what I used. I just used the gloss black, Tamiya, and it works pretty well, especially with a layer of gloss top coat on top. It looks very glossy. For the red, I went with the standard method where I first painted the piece with some chrome silver and then applied a few layers of clear red on top, and that kind of gives the clear red that metallic look by showing through from the chrome silver. Now the real grade is known for having two shades of red, so for the main shade of red I just used this method, but for some pieces that are a bit of a lighter red, what I first did was I again painted the piece with chrome silver, and then I layered on a layer of clear yellow, and then I applied the layer of clear red, and that still looks fairly clear reddish, but it does differentiate it from the other shade of red. And of course, for the few yellow parts, I just went for the chrome silver underneath, and then a layer of clear yellow on top. So I think the best example of the two shades of red is on the leg here. So this giant piece here is done with the clear yellow plus the clear red, while most of the pieces over here are just done with clear red. And as you can see, there is a difference between the two tones, but I think both tones of red match Sazabi very well. In terms of stickers and decals, I ordered some metallic sticker decals from Delphi. But as you can see here, I still have a lot left over, and that's because I find that these are very difficult to work with, especially on such a small kit. What happened was I would try to apply one of these stickers, but when I tried to pull it up, it would peel off the paint. I think this is half because the paint I'm using is Tamiya acrylic, so it's not quite as strong as a lacquer paint. But I think it's also just the fact that these stickers are very small, so the surface area of like the clear film on top needs to be a bit bigger when applying them. So as you can see, there's a lot of leftovers. And it's also the fact that the Sazabi is a very curvy kit. A lot of the limbs and whatnot, the armor are all very curved. So it's very difficult to get this metallic sticker curved. It tends to just, stick on straight. So for that reason, I mainly just used the stickers that the kit came with. These turned out to be not as bad as I thought it would be. I thought that the film would show through very clearly, but on the clear red, it's very difficult to actually see unless you show it through a specific angle. It's a bit more obvious on the black parts, but I think overall it's a sacrifice I have to make because the metallic stickers really weren't working. As you can see, I mainly followed the normal color scheme. The main differences I made are going to be on the inner frame. As you can see here, with the armor hatch gimmick opened up, I did a lot of that up in silver. The joints here are going to be silver as well as the ones on the leg. I just really like silver for these joints overall. So whereas normally they'd be just gray, I decided to mix it up with some gunmetal, silver, and metallic gray. I really like the view here at the bottom of the foot, looking up. The boosters all in chrome silver, and the bottom of the feet, there's some metallic gray there and a piece of chrome silver. I think overall the kit looks very well. I'm quite happy with how my paint job worked out. Especially, I was kind of worried about how the gloss black would look compared to the very shiny metallic red, but I think the few layers of top coat really helps give it that kind of gaudy, glossy look that makes it blend in very well with the rest of the kit. The only major color scheme change I really made was on the tip of these fuel tanks, where I just painted them up in gunmetal as opposed to the rest of the black. I figured the back of the backpack could use a bit of color as opposed to just being black and silver. So here's a shield of the Sazabi. It's absolutely massive, the biggest red part on the kit by far. You definitely can't mess this up, and I'm glad I didn't. Well, I technically messed it up a bit, but I think overall it looks pretty good. The clear red turned out very well. There's that yellow piece down there that's been coated with the chrome silver into clear yellow for a gold effect. And the back is also very similar. I could have maybe done some more detailing here, but I decided to keep the color scheme of just red. I was a bit lazy and didn't use as many coats of clear red back here, so it is just a tad bit lighter than the red on the front. This piece is just black with some top coat, so it's still kind of glossy. The emblem here is going to be the Delphi metal sticker as opposed to the sticker that comes with the kit. This is a pretty large sticker, it fits very well, and bending it to contour to the shield was relatively simple and it sticks on pretty well. Besides, I think, the emblem on the shield is very iconic, and having it in this kind of gaudy gold is definitely a lot more attractive. I also went ahead and did the rest of the shield in this gold stickers just because it would kind of match. I did have a fumble here. This is actually the first time when I was playing on the sticker, I kind of ripped off some of the clear red here. I didn't want to, strip all the paint off and redo everything, partly because I was running out of clear red. So I just kind of crudely painted it over, but it's kind of obvious in some lights. But for the most time, if it's on the right lighting, it's not really that obvious. And overall, I'm pretty happy with it. Here's just a quick look at the actual beam rifle. I'm actually very happy how it turned out since this is such a big piece of black. I went over it with some gloss coat a lot of times to kind of have it match the shiny nature of the kit overall. Here is just metallic gray. I think it works pretty well. Since this was a very relatively flat part of the kit, I went ahead and used the metallic stickers. I think it fits very well. There is this one red piece here and the details stick through. And I'm very happy how it turned out. It's very subtle, but it's still that shiny red and works very well with the rest of the kit. So the beam tomahawk is as you'd expect. It's just the shiny red over the glossy black. Very standard. I didn't do quite as many top coats on the black here because I didn't really plan on displaying the kit with the beam tomahawk. And here is the beam saber. If you look very closely, you can see the two different shades of red here. Well, two different shades of metallic red. And I quite like it, even though it won't be on display as much as I'd like to. So you might have noticed that the way I'm displaying the funnels right now is a bit different from the way it's supposed to be. I'm not having the funnels completely locked into their racks. And that's mainly because I painted these, and even though I did top coat them, I am kind of scared that it will scrape off the paint and possibly ruin the funnels if I push it in all the way. But the way I did the funnels is kind of as you'd expect, two different colors. There is the kind of darker red here, and then the lighter red here. I think it works very well. I decided to differentiate between the little blasters, making that chrome silver, and the rest of the inner workings just a metallic gray. It opens up all the same, even though it is a bit difficult, but you can still open it up into that kind of pew-pew active mode. I was considering just leaving the back panels of these silver, but I ended up painting them red just to kind of keep it consistent. But I think it would have looked a lot cooler if maybe these panels were chrome silver. And since I did no real kit modification, it poses just about as well as the regular real grade Sazabi. And just like with the real grade New Gundam, I also made a custom stand for my real grade Sazabi to help pose it in the air and show off its funnels. So the construction of the stand is basically identical to that of my New Gundam, except for the base. I made it the Xeon symbol as opposed to the Amuro insignia. But you're going to have 3 pieces of clear cut acrylic with some holes in them. These are identical. And then I'm going to have the same insignia cut out in the same shape, but without the holes on them. And they're also going to have 2 pieces of the acrylic for the actual stand itself. And these are cut on 1/8 inch acrylics. So to assemble the stand without displaying the funnels, you're just going to stack these 3 pieces of clear acrylic together. Take the one piece without holes in them. I left the paper on the backing just so you won't be able to see the holes through the top of the stand. We're going to stack them together, and there's going to be a nice little slot here where you can piece these 2 together and slot them in like so. And then we can just slide on the action-based attachment piece that comes with the kit. As you'd expect, the Sazabi sits on there pretty well. It's not quite as mobile as the regular action bases, but it does work pretty well for just holding a basic pose. The stand has no real problems holding regular action poses as well. Actually really happy with just how stable it is on there. But of course, the main reason I made the stand was to display the funnels. So what we're going to do is we're going to swap out the top piece for the bottom piece. So that way the 3 clear plastic pieces with the holes in them are going to be on top and exposed. Reassemble it, and now we can plug these pieces of filament into these holes and use that to display the funnels. Here I have a really long piece. I just bent it around, give it some angles, and we can just plug it into one of these display pieces here. Like so. And after opening up one of these funnels, we can just very easily plug them on the top, and it'll sit there no problem. And this is ultimately the kind of effect that we're gonna get. Unsurprisingly, it looks a lot better with the Sazabi actually on the display base. You might notice that the wire is kind of shaking the funnel around, and that's only because I'm kind of shaking the display base. If you put this down on a shelf somewhere, eventually the little filament pieces are going to stop shaking, and then it's going to hold a very static pose. So here he is with all his funnels deployed. I kind of arranged it so it's around the Sazabi. I think overall it works pretty well. These funnels are a lot less heavy than the fin funnels of the new Gundam, so they hold on a lot better. And as a result, you can shape the wiring to be a lot more dynamic, and it looks kind of like they're blasting off and leaving a bit of trail behind them. But of course, the main reason I made this stand was so that it could match the real Great New Gundam, and I must say, posing them together like this is definitely a treat to see. So just some of my final thoughts on the whole paint process overall. So this is actually the 3rd kit that I painted. The first was the high grade, high new Gundam, just to kind of get my feet wet with the very basics. Then the second was the real grade new Gundam here. Just doing some more advanced stuff like masking, applying stickers and decals, and panel lining. And the third was obviously the real grade Sazabi here, doing the candy color scheme. We're all pretty happy with how everything turned out. The colors look very well. I'm very happy with how the 2 tones of red turned out. I think the only disappointment I had was the metal stickers. Applying them was a lot more difficult than I thought, and acrylic paints aren't quite strong enough to really hold on to them. So when I peeled some metal stickers off, it also peeled off the paint. So I just went with the stickers that it came with overall. I think it's mainly just the actual clear red, the kind of whatever formula Tamiya uses. It's a bit too weak to actually play with, because when I used the middle stickers on here, there weren't any real problems outside of the fact that stickers weren't sticking, but the paint wasn't getting pulled off or anything. But overall, I think it was a very good learning process. I'm very happy with how these 2 kits in particular worked out. Having this cool little diorama in the 1/44 scale, really neat. A very good start to kind of a painting career. Also really enjoyed making the bases, even though they are kind of similar. Just having this initial idea and seeing if it worked, doing all the laser cuts and fitting stuff. I'm very happy that they do, in fact, work out, and they can have a pretty cool looking diorama with the fin funnels launching everywhere. Even though, the new does have its official fin funnel stand, the Sazabi is a bit lacking in that area, so just making my own was a lot cheaper, and looks a lot cooler, and, more room for customization. So yeah, thank you for watching my reviews. Stay tuned for more reviews and paint jobs, and I hope you guys are enjoying the content. Please comment, like, and subscribe. See ya!